Hi, and welcome to PettyNOMICS, where we discuss the pettiness of our current economic environment and propose solutions to it all. In this episode, I'm going to touch on a subject that is near and dear to my heart, and that is the subject of housing. I will cover this topic again in depth many times on this channel in the future. For the long story on why this means so much to me, please check out my other channel, Permission to Exist. The short story is, after many years of waiting, planning, and faithfully watching over my finances, I made a valiant attempt to purchase a home and failed miserably. I still believe something unethical and potentially illegal occurred, but I haven't been able to fully pursue those notions. As a result, I had to rent another apartment, which brings us to the subject of this video. Apartments and apartment-style living are major contributors to the overall wrecked financial state of so many Americans, and in particular, young Americans. The problem is, it goes largely unaddressed because many have accepted it as par for the course, or it's possible that many people have always only lived in homes and therefore don't know that this is happening at all. Either way, I'm here today to challenge this mindset and illustrate how modern apartment dwellings are helping keep your average American broke. As a major disclaimer, please know I'm not speaking down to or about people who have to or prefer to rent. I am a renter myself and have been since 2006. Apartments serve their purpose in the grand scheme of the economy and society, but their current setup is criminal, and we're going to talk about it today. We already know of the skyrocketing rents in major cities across the United States. This is a problem in and of itself and also isn't helping, but this is not the issue I'm isolating today. The issue I'm isolating today is that of the annual or contract end rental rate increase. And it goes a little something like this. You sign a lease for a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment for 12 months for $1,000 a month. You put down a $1,000 deposit and fulfill your full rental contract. About 90 days before your lease is up, you will receive a renewal letter. This letter will give you the option to either vacate with a 60-day notice, go month to month at an inflated rate of $2,100 per month, or renew your lease for another 12 months for $1,250. These numbers are not exaggerations. So a person who may be on the same job, making the same amount of money annually, now has a decision to make. They can either increase their housing budget by $250 monthly, which translates to an additional $3,000 annually. They can go month to month, paying the inflated rate of $2,100 while doing so, or they can take what might be the easiest option, which is to move to a different apartment with a cheaper rental rate. So now this person has to uproot themselves in order to find lower rent. The irony is, they were able to afford that rent when they moved in and signed the lease, and therein lies the problem. I said might in the previous example because moving might actually end up costing them more money than simply staying in place. When you factor in the cost of hiring movers, moving and packing supplies, new deposits, turning on utilities, etc., moving might actually end up mathematically costing more than simply staying in place. Whichever situation this person chooses, they are going to end up paying more each year, and more, and more, and more, and more, until they are potentially edged out of the housing market altogether. Many, like myself, will attempt to jump ship into a home in an attempt to stabilize our monthly housing costs. When we are unable, we have no choice but to re-enter the rental merry-go-round. Perhaps we should call it the rental merry-go-up. When this happens to a person more than once, it begins to eat into their liquid cash and overall budget. Many will try to compensate for this steady increase by going for promotions at work, or pay raises, or going back to school and taking on student loan debt, or, again, trying to buy a home. Many will fail at this third and final option and will literally exhaust themselves in an attempt to keep up with an increase in living expenses that is truly unwarranted. Some may argue this is just inflation. No, inflation would make the rent roughly $1,023 at renewal. $1,250 is price gouging. This price gouging is legal theft and robbery, and the rental industry has been getting away with it for a very long time. It is a monopoly of sorts, in that consumers have very few options in regard to housing. It is either rent or buy, and everyone is literally not allowed to buy a house. So if you're not allowed to buy a home due to a complex and mysterious mathematical equation, your only other option is to rent something. But if that renting is contributing to a hole in your pocket that grows exponentially each year, what do you think that will do to your finances long term? Where are you planning on pulling the extra $250 each month from? Or if you choose to move, where are you pulling the move money from? Savings? Is it really right or ethical that you have to reach into your savings to pay for the same apartment you were already comfortably paying for last year? In my opinion, no, it's not. These people have more than made their profit. And more than that, they have control over the majority of the resources required to construct and dwell in any type of home. Going out and building your own home is simply not feasible for the average person. As such, we are at the mercy of the real estate industry in both forms, ownership and rental. This reality should provide us far more leverage than it does. It's time to hold the real estate giants accountable for their role in bringing the U.S. economy to its knees. It's the compounding effect of many years of rising rates that have absolutely crushed the middle class and everyone else, if we're being honest. In addition to massive reforms to the housing industry, which we will get into on this channel, the apartment and rental industry needs to be reformed as well. I have included a list of recommended reformations in the description box below. These are just a few of the ways we can begin to modify the rental industry. A hostage-style situation is created when home ownership is not guaranteed. Otherwise, we'd be able to say participation in apartment living is voluntary. It is the only choice many people have, however. For that reason, let's remove the greed from the equation and insert some common sense and decency. Housing is far too important to be petty with.